Now we certainly have three distinct lines right now. Eric Darnell leads the inside line. Todd Bodine leads the middle line. There's Kyle Busch right there in that 51 Miccosukee Toyota right in front of Mike Wallace. Scott Speed over there, the Red Bull Toyota on the outside.
Todd Bodine was able to get the lead, but a guy that I'm finding fun to watch. Let's take a ride a lap with Mike Wallace, Phil. See where all he goes. Right now he's following Kyle Busch. Look at Kyle making a big run to the outside. Let's listen to his throttle.
Three wide, you got the 59 in the middle with you. 88's on top of you with one truck.
Hear him on and off the gas.
He's adjusting his throttle to keep that gap the same between that 08 truck. He'll get a little bit behind and he'll squeeze a little bit more throttle to it. He gets too close, he has to squeeze out of the throttle.
And he's looking for that big run. He's looking for a chance to make a huge move. And that's why he's leaving that gap between he and the 08.
There's 81 of Landon Castle, the National Guard Chevy on the inside. Side by side now for third. Todd Bodine in the middle of the racetrack. The 09 of John West Townley on the inside.
Exactly what we expected for Talladega Superspeedway in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Race number 20 for the Truck Series. We've got a 1-point difference between Johnny Benson and Ron Hornaday in our championship point standings. And right now there are 33 trucks and a little contact there. Todd Bodine ducked down and there was no room for him. So a little bit of contact on the racetrack. We've expected this and we haven't had any problems up to this point. Ray Dunlap, what's happening with the 33?
Well, he's in the back of the pack right there, Rick, and he's not very happy about it. He talked to his spotter, Rick Corelli, and said, do whatever you can to get me away from Mike Wallace. He said that guy has changed lanes 6 times in the last 4 laps, and eventually that's going to cause a problem. So he's asking Corelli for a little bit of help. But now Hornaday down on the inside going by Logano right behind Mike Wallace. He wants away from the 9.
Well, he's right behind him right now, Ray. It's going to be hard to get away from him when he's right behind him.
And I can't argue with Ron. He has changed 6 lanes in 1 lap.
Well, we saw him change lanes 3 times in one trial.
We were watching and riding along with Mike Wallace, listening to that throttle and the throttle control that he has.
But you can't get away from anybody. I mean, that's why they're all globbed together. There is nowhere to hide.
There's Mike Skinner, the 5 left of your screen. There's Terry Cook, the 60, right behind Mike Skinner. They're on the bottom of the racetrack. Johnny Benson still leads that outside line. He has Brendan Gaughan with him. But right now, Johnny's running in about the 9th spot.
Eric Darnell has been dominant, and only 2 times did Darnell not lead the laps.
There was almost a big crash on the back straightaway, and it involved Johnny Benson. It looked like
some bump drafting, maybe.
I think Todd was trying to get out of line, and Johnny was going to bump draft him all at the same time. Let's see if we can pick it up.
Look right at your screen. There's Todd Bodine right there. That's his onboard. Lumber Liquidators onboard. Oh, and he made pretty good contact with John West Townley, but that was precipitated by something. Probably maybe a bump draft or something by Johnny, as you mentioned, as he was maybe moving around. If you're going to bump draft these trucks, you better be going straight.
Yeah, and you know, as Johnny Benson has to understand exactly what Todd's doing at the moment when he wants to hit him. Todd decided he might want to duck low a little bit. Johnny bump drafted him and almost caused a crash.
How about John West Townley, this 18-year-old who's stuck in the draft running 190 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, wham, he gets hit on the outside. Hey, what are you doing?
He's watched this enough on TV to know that that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's see if we can see here, Phil. Off turn 2, these guys are dicing around, and it looks like Todd decides to close the door on Johnny, and Johnny had a run on him, and it was close.
Yeah, that could have been big. Now, that would have probably involved 10 or 15 trucks more than likely, because it was right in the middle of this pack.
Continuing here at Talladega Superspeedway, nobody really has anything for Eric Darnell. He and his teammate have been running 1 and 2 pretty much the whole race. At one point in time, Todd Bodine got up there and led a lap, but then that was it. Chris DeVota.
We talked about how this was Joey Logano's first race at Talladega. Also the first truck race at Talladega for Landon Castle. Now he does have 6 truck starts already this year, but his first time at this track, he said the most important thing for me is to keep the truck in one piece, maybe go for a few extra positions at the end. He may be a new kid on the block, but right now Landon Castle is certainly hanging tough. Ray?
John Andretti running in the top 15 in that number 15 truck. They did right side tires only on lap number 20. Now we've been listening to the guys up front, and they're saying they'll be to pit road in 4 or 5 laps. Looking around lap number 50, I believe it is, they'll be coming to pit road.
He's got that truck up to the 6th spot, Ray.
And we just saw him get down almost onto the apron with the left front of that truck, and the sparks were flying out.
Yeah, and also Landon Castle. There isn't anyone going to get under Landon. He's able to keep that thing really low on the racetrack.
And again, there is an out of bounds here at Talladega. You cannot improve your position by going below the yellow line. So they have to stay above the yellow line at all times, especially when they're racing, but they cannot improve their position by going below the yellow line.
Ron Hornaday right now being shown in the 22nd position. You see him right behind the 5 of Mike Skinner. High position of 4th in this race, and way back here when he had the pit road penalty for speeding. Boy, but still in the fight here in this lead pack. Mike Wallace right now is trying to make some ground up on the outside of the racetrack. He has moved up into the top 10 right now, being shown in the 6th spot, side by side with John Andretti right now for that 6th position.
You know, we just passed halfway, Phil, and as tight and as intense as this action is right now, this isn't anything as to what it's going to be like with 10 to go. These guys are using a little bit of patience. They're giving each other a little bit of room. All that's going to go out the window. They're going to start trying to bump each other, use the sides of their truck to slow down the inside line, and the intensity is going to pick up. You see Johnny Benson there jumping to the outside of Mike Wallace, trying to gain a spot right there now.
We see 2 and 3 wide continuing. Now I've got to pose the question, as you see the halfway point being displayed to the drivers. We're closing in on probably the next 8 laps, maybe. Everyone is going to have to come onto pit road for fuel. We've never had a green flag pit stop at Talladega up to this point. Is that going to be a big factor here at the Speedway?
It's going to be a huge challenge, Rick, because you know where you need to be in order to come to pit road, right where these guys are racing. Right. The spotters are going to be key. There's going to have to be a lot of communication. The drivers are going to have to get those hands out the window and start waving. And when you haven't done this before, it'll be a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very difficult. I'm sorry, Rick, very difficult for the guys behind you to see. So that's why the spotters are even more important here, to let the guys know behind you, let their spotters know, so they can relay that to the driver that, hey, I'm coming down pit road next time. Don't run in the back of me. We've seen that happen before. We saw it at Daytona. Eric Darnell probably had the best truck at Daytona, was trying to make his way to pit road, got hit from behind.
That's what happened to Jack Sprague last year when he turned around in front of the field. He was trying to get to pit road. It'll be a challenge.
Ray Dunlap, what's the word on fuel?
Well, they're at lap 48 right now. When they go by the start-finish line next time, all the 3 Roush trucks will get in position to come down pit road on lap 50. The good news is they're able to communicate with each other. They've talked to all 3 crew chiefs. They've talked to all 3 drivers and told them get ready. Crew members getting ready to get up on the wall right now. So those 3 trucks will be able to exit the speedway all together, coming down pit road in unison.
I still don't like it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really difficult for these guys to make this green flag pit stop without somebody running into somebody.
And remember, you talked about the youth up front now. A lot of these guys haven't made all that many green flag pit stops. Now, Eric Darnell has been here in the series for a while. He's made a few, but some of these guys, Colin Brown, may not have ever made a green flag pit stop.
You know, and if I'm Eric Darnell right now, I'm saying, thank you, Jack Roush. I really appreciate this truck you've given me. I've got it on the mat, and it's faster than everybody else, and I've got the lead.
And maybe a little bit of Mike Beam as well.